Good morning. How are you? How is everyone? I don't know what happened there. I was on, wasn't on. It was weird. That has never happened before. Usually we just play the intro but there I was, and then I was gone. So this should be interesting. Should be an interesting day when it starts off like that. Anyway, welcome to Off the Cuff, everyone. I think this is probably going to be not one of my most popular live streams. Um, I mean, who does it? You know, who does a live stream called The Loneliness Epidemic Nobody Saw Coming? Um, if for those of you that are new, if you'll get to know Dennis and I, my husband, more than anything, we're concerned about people's lives, their souls, their spirits, their bodies. We're not always right. Some of what I say is an opinion, but we're not chasing sensationalism. We're not the Enquirer streaming. We are people who are pastors, and we get addressed through email, through comments, different things. And we realize what is happening in the world today. We understand what people are dealing with. We're dealing with a lot of it ourselves. Because I'm on this side of the camera doesn't make me, I have no worries. Excuse me. I have no problems. My relationships are perfect. We're human beings with issues, and we try to do the best we can. But God enlightens us to specific things that people deal with. 3-4 years ago, when I first began doing this, and I got thrown into this of no desire of my own, I was very into politics, and it's not that I don't have opinions, but for us, you don't bring anything with you when you leave this earth. You don't bring a politician with you. You don't bring a party with you. It's very important that our souls and our spirits are built up. Okay, so before I begin, that's my opening. For those that are interested and those that are not, you can just jump off. No problem at all. I'm gonna get some candid with you here. Okay, a little bit. Excuse me. Wow. Takingbackourhealth.com. Now, and let me say this before I say anything else. Joyandcountry.com is on pause. If you go there, if you go online and you see joyandcountry.com, Jenna put up a little saying, card at the top. We are going through some personal crisis in our family, and for now, that has to be paused. And it's unfortunate because that was one of our fundraisers. Keep her in prayer, our daughter. We have all the faith in God in the world, and we know that He works all things together for good and uses things that weren't authored by Him. So let me just say that. Taking Back Our Health is now our main fundraiser. If you don't know about it, I would appreciate you going there. But I've got to let me just say what I'm going to say, because I get so aggravated at this. In the last couple of weeks, I've gotten 2 emails full of lies about Taking Back Our Health, okay? Which is LifeWave. It's LifeWave, okay? Just it's no secret. I just don't go into it. I like people to watch things first and learn about it, because many times they'll have something in their brain that goes, oh, I'm not doing something like that. You understand? So that's why I don't mention it. Not because I can't, not because I don't want to. But Taking Back Our Health is our website, one page, that gives a little testimony of what happened with us with this. And so the last couple of weeks, I've gotten 2 emails. Wonderful people. Not that they're not good people. I'm not even saying that in but completely wrong. Completely not even close to the truth. One of them said, the CEO of the company is a scam artist, and she's found out everywhere that that this is fake and it's all blah blah blah. Okay, and I wrote back to her very nicely. And then I got another one yesterday that said that on a specific website, those where you can hide who you are and say anything you want, those, said that she was skiing with her husband, and she was using this technology, and her husband was using the technology and she was not. And there was it was in Europe, and there was a 6G tower close by the ski area, and her husband got a heart attack while skiing. Didn't get a heart attack. I forget. Her husband got a heart attack. Whatever one got the heart attack, she was blaming it on this. Okay. Yo, you got a 6G tower on the mountain. I don't get it. I don't get it. But someone said it online. This is what happened. Her husband wore it, got a heart attack. The other person didn't get a heart attack. I don't get it. I don't get it. I've had 3 people in the last day say to me, my blood is better than it's ever been. I can't believe my heart came back. My heavy metals are gone. I can walk. My back doesn't bother me. I'm losing weight. My blood pressure's down. So let me just tell you, okay? The CEO of the company is an authentic Christian, okay? He gives God all the glory in everything he does. Never seen a company like this in my life. I had dinner with the president. Dinner. I know her. Okay? The most incredible people you ever want to see in your life. Our lives have been changed because of it. Okay? And I believe, and I'm not going to go into this because it's not my thing, but what's going on in our family would have been way worse, because those things take up to 10 years to happen. Way worse had it not been for this situation. So go to takingbackourhealth.com. I'm not going to make this a commercial, but I had to straighten things out, because I know I'll hear from people that see the same thing. Okay. And I'll send you a few videos. You can see vascular surgeons, anesthesiologists talk about it. Some of the biggest names in medicine, in functional practitioners. So that's that. Now leave that alone. You'll get it from me if you do that. Last but not least, join us. He's still on the throne. Go to thegatheringmovement.org and join us. I'm going to talk more about this later within the topic. So I'll take that down and let me just begin here. So why did I do this today? Like I said, this isn't going to be, I'm not going to go viral with this. Okay. But it's so incredibly an epidemic that I don't think many of us understand the epidemic it's become. There's so much noise. If you, I don't want to get upset because it doesn't help anything if I get upset. And the person it upsets mostly is me. And then I'll pay a price with my health. So I'm not going to do that. You've got Christian brothers and sisters screaming at each other, suing each other, getting people to dividing, taking sides. Look, I understand. God speaks to you to do something. And I get all that. But somehow we've got to think of people first. Not many are. That's right. There's too much noise out there. It's noise everywhere. This is good. That's bad. And I do it too. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. But it's housed in trying to help people get away from it, not adding to it, not adding to the noise. What has happened is 2020 occurred, and out of that came all the garbage we're dealing with right now, whether it's in the church, out of the church, in the political world, out of the political world, whatever it is. It's that happened. So why did I do this today? And you have to understand, I sit and talk to Dennis and I say, Monday morning, this is my Monday morning talk. Are you getting anything? A prayer or anything, a direction I should go in for off the cuff? I don't just do this. Listen, I could put up a video and I could say, put on it, God showed me what the next year will hold. I will have 1,000 people watching me. I'm not going to do it, even if I do. He tells me I'll do it, but I'm not seeking that. We're seeking to help the grassroots of people to be happier, to live a better life, to discover what's causing what they're dealing with. Very few are addressing the real needs of people. We could pray, and we did that for 4 months on a Friday night. We could do that. It's not where we are right now. Now God has Dennis and I and our team, which Around the Table will show this coming Friday night, our new show, that people's souls are fractured. The spirit of people is intact. They love God. But their souls, their emotions, what they live in, their day to day. A lot of people are fractured. And listen, again, I have days that I feel that way. I went through 2 weeks. You didn't see me on because I was dealing with an issue. I was dealing with asking God, what is going on? Help me understand and give us a path and a road. I was consumed with that. But a part of me was fractured as a mom. So I have a question for you. Have you ever sat? I know I have, especially since 2020, and I'm going to address that. Have you ever sat in a room full of people and still felt alone? You could have your spouse with you, your partner, friends, family. I have felt alone at a family get together. I can remember when I felt it. It was probably right before 2020. And I felt so alone. Have you ever looked at your phone and seen hundreds, some of you thousands, of connections? And yet, maybe you feel like nobody really knows you. Maybe you've gone out to dinner with friends or family and come home and still feel empty. Or you posted something online and you got likes and comments and reactions, yet somehow it just doesn't do it. How can we live in the most connected time in all of human history, and at the same time, more people are seeing psychologists, more people are committing suicide, more people are displaced, more people are hungry on the street, more families are divided. The worst political parties have ever been is the division right now. You've probably noticed, if you've been watching me, I veer from politics. I veer from pointing a finger. Like I know really who's to blame. It's because there are human things, human things that are happening in our society. And many are not identifying it because millions probably won't even realize it's happening. So I want to look at this. I want to break it down. I want to talk about what God says about it. I remember my first home was, I think it was like, got married young, late 70s, maybe, and, or 80. And I was loved, grew up in farmland, loved the woods, loved Dennis, we love fishing. We love all of that stuff. My father was a hunter. I was brought up, as soon as I could hold a pole, I was fishing. And we got up 2.5 acres of land in Belchertown. Now, some of you that know Massachusetts know Belchertown. Maybe it's built up a little bit more now, but we were isolated. Okay. I just started having babies, and I remember Dennis was big restaurant business guy, and he right away got a situation where it's a long story. I don't want to go into that. That's another story for another day. And I was left alone in this isolated area. Now you got to hear me out here. I had my sister and my mom. My brother was in California. My sister, my mom, and my dad lived in Agawam. And Agawam was like within 25 miles, I guess. And I could have part of my phone, landline, cell phones weren't around, and the internet, no internet, it was a phone. And I would have part of my phone bill that I would pay extra for 20 miles around. And so they didn't, I did. So when I would get a call from them, it would be free because it was coming into me. Okay. I was paying for it. When I wanted to get a hold of them, I would ring the phone once and they would know it's me and they would call me back. So this is what we did. I was isolated. I was alone. Dennis had worked 24/7 restaurants. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I had 2 little babies. That my parent, everybody, there was no friends. I was isolated. I couldn't pick up a phone and call anybody. I was that far away. No internet. Me, TV, my babies, books. I felt more connected then than I do now. I am able, now it's wonderful that I've got all of you and we're connected, and thank God for it. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. But 2020 did a tune on us. You see, distance and loneliness are not the same thing. I had distance between me, my family, and everybody at that point, but I wasn't lonely. There was, the world felt whole, even though it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. There was issues, not like today, but there were issues. And I found out it has nothing to do with proximity, how close or far you are. The issue is intimacy. I told you that in 2019, I was at an event with all of my kids and all of the grandkids and, everyone. And I never felt so alone. I felt so alone. You see, people are starving for genuine connection, not information, not entertainment, but connection. And the problem is that many think that watching their, favorite flavor of the day online podcaster or prophet or whoever, they pop up all the time. So you got your pick. They're going to solve that. But you know how they don't? Is they're back that night, that next day. But it doesn't quench the deep need for connection. Now, I will say, and I'm going to take this as an aside, the people that I've gotten to know you guys, listen, I could pull any one of you out, and I've gotten to know you well. A lot of you email me. A lot of you I'm connected with on Facebook, on my personal page, through the Gathering Prayer, in my comments on social media. I've gotten to know you guys. I know you, and you know me. There is a connection and thank God for all of you on Rumble and YouTube, that you guys have forged. You really connect. I see this rarely. So I got to call it out as it is. Now, there may be some of you that are on the chat, either you Rumble or YouTube, and you still don't feel connected, but thank God that at least you have that. I'm not begrudging you that, okay? Please hear me. I'm not. I'm trying to make a point. All right, look, this is where my thoughts went, okay? What many people have done is substituted contact for real connection. We tend to think it's the same thing. It's not. You see, texting, I hate texting. Number one, I absolutely hate it. I do it at times. I do it. But I like phone calls. Do you know the amount of situations that I've gotten in because I said something quickly because I'm busy and I tried to answer and it came out totally wrong and people got upset with me? So I say, it's too long, call me. Or when you have time, email me, I'll answer you. That's why email is so important to me, because it gives me time to think about the answer, not texting, and make sure that people understand. Many of us have maybe replaced deep relationships with digital interactions. Instead of sitting and having a cup of coffee in the morning with a loved one, even on FaceTime someone, grab coffee, tea, whatever, say, hey, let's hang for 15 minutes together. You see, we've lost touch with that. We get on our phones, we're searching for the next hot off the griddle prophetic word of the day. How the political party we are against is messing up, making mistakes. It's all noise. Zero connection, hard to believe. We know what someone ate for lunch. We know where they vacationed. We know what political opinions they have. Do we actually know them? Do they really know us? Today on my personal Facebook page, I posted a picture of a chicken. So let me tell you what happened. Our youngest, flew here last week. We were together all last week, hanging with Jenna. All of us were hanging. And she said, "Mom, I got to take you antiquing." And I said, "What antiquing? I don't want to go in an antique store." She said, No, it's like thrifting, antiquing. I said, "All right, you know what? Jenny, you want to go?" "Yeah, it'll be fun." I said, "Okay." So I'll go. So I went in this store, and there's a bunch of them around here. And I saw this chicken about this big. My parents had chickens my whole life. I love chickens. I wish I had chickens. Can't have chickens in an HOA. So I saw him and I left, and I don't want to say her name. My daughter said, "Mom, you love that chicken. Go in and get the chicken." I said, "I don't want to." She said, "I bet you named him." I said, "I did." I said, "I did." I looked at him and I said, "That's Dickie." So she said, "Go." I said, "No, I'm not getting a chicken. I'm not putting a chicken." So needless to say, the next day I went back with them and got Dickie and brought him home. He's sitting in my plants, okay? All my plants on a thing, I have him sitting with his legs hanging, okay? I love that chicken. Absolutely love that chicken. I am posting things like that because the people that are on my, almost 2,000 of them that are on my personal, I don't let everybody in, but those that I know need to get to know me. And one person commented, "That's so you." And I went, they know, they've gotten to know me. That's connection. That's connection, folks. That's what's important. That's what we need to do more. We have more windows into people's lives than ever before, but fewer seats at their tables. Think about that. Think about that. We have windows into their lives. Some of them, you don't even really know them. You don't even know their real name. Some, you know their name. You don't know their lives. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. I remember when I was a little girl, my very Italian parents loved company, and we lived in the basement. That's what Massachusetts Italians do. You put plastic on your furniture, and when you die, it looks like nobody sat on it. And the reason is that nobody did. So when we had special company, we would go up to the real place we lived and slept, the real kitchen. And so I remember being, a little kid, like 5, 6 years old, and sitting and loving, my father would bring out the anisette and everybody would have a shot of anisette and, the cookies and the whole thing. And everybody's talking over each other. And it was late. And I'm like, like this. And so my mom, I was the youngest in my family. And my mom would say, "Delora, you got to go to bed." And I would, "But I don't need to go." She said, "Look, you're right here." Literally, you walk down a 12-foot hall and there was my bedroom. So I was almost on top of the kitchen. And I said, "Okay." Well, I'd leave my door open. And I would fall asleep listening to the laughter and the joy and the connecting that was happening in the kitchen. I never slept better than when I fell asleep to those nights of my family deepening relationships with friends and family members. See, here's the problem with technology. I love it. I'm using it greatly because I'm using it because I believe this is how it will be spread. God will spread his word to the whole world. So he's taking what was meant for harm and using it for good. Problem is, technology gives us information without requiring a relationship. Loneliness hurts. This is where faith comes in. Loneliness isn't merely emotional, it's spiritual as well. You know, Genesis opens up with God creating everything. Genesis 2:18 says it's not good that man should be alone. That's glossed over in the word. How many times do you ever hear someone speak about that in relation to what I'm talking about? It's not good that man should be alone. You don't hear that. That is one of the most profound statements in the entire Word of God. Before sin entered the world, God identified isolation and a lack of connecting as a problem. You see, human beings were created for relationship. We're relational because our Creator is relational. That's why I hate religion, because religion forces you to obey man. God wants a relationship. And if you don't want a relationship with him, he's a gentleman. If you're an atheist or you're, again, you're like, I want nothing. What do you think? He's going to come over and hit you on the head and say, hey, I'm God? No, he gave you free will. Human beings were created for relationship. Connection is woven throughout the Word of God, throughout creation itself. It's all interwoven. So when we live a disconnected life, something deep within us goes haywire. It recognizes things aren't functioning. And then we wonder why we don't feel well. There's a book. It tends to be a little bit heavy, and it's not, don't expect it to be spiritual or anything. Okay. So I'm not telling you go get this book and your spirit will be fed. But there's a book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And what it talks about is when your emotions and your mind and you're feeling overwhelmingly lonely, or you're feeling overwhelmingly disconnected, or in fear, or in, all of these emotions that play with our brain and our heart, and that most are stuck in our subconscious from God knows where. It could be when we were young. It could be marriage. It could be about being molested. It could be being abused. You have no idea. You all have different lives, had different paths. But it talks about how the body keeps the score of what's going on between your ears. The body is the thing. An ulcer is caused by stress. It's real. It's real. But it's caused by stress. Migraines. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So when we live a disconnected life, something deep within us recognizes that things aren't right. This is why we started gatherings in person. I got to go down this road. I put a little note on top and put gatherings, just in case you want to go here. Because of finances, we can't do one every month. We would love to do one every month. When we first did this, the first couple of years, we had someone who was doing matching funds for us. So if you gave $100, they gave $200. You gave $10, they gave $20. If we got $5,000 one month, they would give us $5,000 total. And now we're almost there to have a gathering. But live streaming it, this is why there was 2 reasons we didn't live stream for the first 13, except for one. Because we were afraid people were going to watch it on a live stream it wouldn't come to the place to connect on a level that you can't connect with on a live stream. There's nothing that takes the place of a human hug, a warm smile in the same room, loving people with your eyes, connecting eye to eye, seeing people. Of course, some people have money issues and they can't go. I'm not discounting that. I get it. I live in reality, guys. I get it. But because we're allowed to stay in our pajamas and hide our faces, many times people hide because they put weight on. They don't want people to see them. I know people like that. Or they don't like the way they look. They feel like they look old. There are all kinds of reasons people hide. Very verbal online, but hide. Some people are afraid to fly. I was there. I'm going to admit to you, Dennis and I both were. We were ready to take our car and drive everywhere. And I said, what are we doing? What are we doing? Fear should not come anywhere near us. And that's it. Now we're flying all over the place. You can stay in your pajamas and watch us. It's awesome, isn't it? It really is. But do you know, I have gone down, before I did this today, there are a handful of people that are doing this, different areas, having Christian meetings, gatherings, if you will, around the country and different areas. And this is what I've noticed. They've all gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, the people that come. We're free. We're free. If you're in driving distance and you can't afford gas, write to me. Let me see if I can help you out. That's how much we want people to connect. If you really have an issue, see if we can do something for you. We don't have a lot of money. I'm taking it out of my own pocket. It's that important. Do you know I don't want to say their names, but two major people, good people in the Christian world that had a big meeting in the south of Florida. They thought they were going to get 5,000 people. There was maybe 200 there, maybe. All these little ones, 20 people show up, 40 people show up. You can stay in your pajamas and watch from your living room and hide. You don't have to move an inch. Now, look, there are people. I see. I get it. You can't. There's this reason, that reason. I'm not trying to throw condemnation at anybody. Please hear me. You know my heart. God, the last thing I would do is that. I'm just trying to get you to see what's happening. There is a spirit that's dividing us politically, in our lives, in our homes, in our families, stopping disconnection. Look at 2020, what happened? I remember a friend of mine that lives on Fifth Avenue. Yeah, she's had money. She I don't think she's there now, but she lived on Fifth Avenue, and she took a picture of the street on Fifth Avenue in New York. Not a soul on the street. No one on that street. That's what happened. You remember that? 6 feet away you had to stay. You had to muzzle yourself. If you really think that was about only about a germ, wow. Think again. We were being isolated. We were being conditioned. My husband said something to me after I was talking with him about this. He said, that time in our history, we were conditioned to be a spectator, not a participant. That's profound. I looked at him and I said, I'm writing that down. And I did. Think of Azusa Street. You had to come there to feel the move of God. You had to come and connect. And look what happened. Did you notice how less things happen now? When before internet, I was, we were part of churches and there was like moves of God that were happening. Now it's so much less. Now I know God can work. We know miracles. People have gotten bona fide miracles through being online, watching a gathering, or during our prayer time. People have gotten bona fide miracles. I'm not saying that. But we've got to be aware of what has happened. If we had enough money, we would pay for everyone who would want to come. That's how important it is for us. That's how important being in the same room, hugging each other, getting to know each other face to face. That's how important it is. This is at an epidemic level. The loneliness, the isolation, it's at an epidemic level. I know so many pastors who are so lonely, ministry heads and business owners, stay-at-home moms and dads, caregivers. Someone just mentioned it on here. Widows, widowers, even young adults. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being 13, 14 years old and never knowing life without all the connections that we have right now? Never knowing that who is on the other end of the phone, and you pick it up because someone called and you want to know who it is, instead of going, oh, forget it, I'm not talking to her. I'm not saying technology is inherently bad or evil. God is using it like crazy. God's using AI like crazy. But we now have relationships with our smartphones. Do you know what I do now? And Dennis noticed it. I leave my phone at home. Or if I go in, I'm going in someplace for a few hours, I leave my phone in the glove compartment in the car. I don't bring it with me. At dinner, walk around with a basket. Deposit the phone, please. Deposit the phone. There needs to be connecting. Facebook, it's great if we are honest with ourselves and really connect. That's why I posted the picture of the chicken. Not for fun. That's why I answered people. That's why I answer your emails. I'm probably one of the only people that do. If I don't answer your email, send it again. I lost it in the myriad of how many I had I delete after I answer you. People are making bank over your desire to connect online. They're using it to line the pocket going south because you have a need. We all have a need to connect. Now think about this. There's a difference between being loved for who you are and being loved for people who people think you are. I used to have a very big, prominent person come on my show all the time. All the time. I knew him. I was friends. We talked on the phone all the time. Really didn't know him. And when I asked to know him, he wouldn't let me know him. I don't know why that is. I'm not judging him. I just knew at that point I couldn't be friends anymore. I can't be friends with a ghost. I can't be friends with a facade. I can be friends with all of you because you write to me. We talk. I see you. What about people that don't have this? What about people that just go on for a word and write in the chat, and if you disagree, they delete you? Like you've been, and it hurts, like you've been deleted out of life. Many people spend years maintaining an image, and the image gets accepted. You don't really know. They don't even have the real name. It's okay. But see, it's okay for some people. It's not okay for me. And it's certainly not okay for me anymore. The real person remains hidden. And it makes you feel like you don't connect. No picture, no real name. That's not connecting. You're trying to suck up any bit of information that'll make you feel like you belong. Ugh. People often respond to loneliness by reaching for substitutes. More entertainment, more scrolling, doom scrolling, more shopping, mostly online, more work, more busyness, more followers, more noise, yet the emptiness remains. You know, Ecclesiastes describes this beautifully. The more Solomon accumulated, the more he realized that external things could not satisfy his internal hunger. Even Jesus understood loneliness. He was misunderstood, betrayed, spit on, abandoned, rejected. In Gethsemane, his closest friends couldn't even stay awake for him. This happens in real life too. He understood loneliness from the inside. The problem with today is this provokes loneliness. It exacerbates loneliness. The answer isn't simply finding more people. The answer is first connecting with the one who made you. Really connecting, having a relationship, knowing his word, that's who he is. Listen, knowing the word doesn't make you have a relationship with him. Satan knows the word, probably better than any of us. But many people are trying to fill a God-shaped space with human attention. Okay? That's what they're doing. So they go on all these things and they fill with more noise, more words, thinking that's touching God. And truly, the healthiest of relationships cannot replace communion with God. The solution isn't complicated, but it is difficult because of the world we're living in. So here's some things I want to talk to people who have a platform. Stop performing, okay? Stop managing perceptions. Just stop it. Take off the mask. Real connection begins when pretending ends. Pursue community in real life. Now, this is for everybody. Community rarely happens accidentally anymore. You often have to create it, or you have to invite people over. You have to join groups, get to know them. If you're going to be online, join the Gathering prayer community. Do that. There's like 12 or 1,300 people that have really gotten to know each other on there. Join the chat. Don't hide. Come to a gathering. I don't care if you weigh 500 pounds. I don't care. I don't care. No one does anymore. I just want to hug you. That's all. We want to hug people. Pray for them. Invite people over for coffee. Go on FaceTime with a good friend. Have tea. Be the person who initiates it. You know, it's a funny thing. I don't usually do anything on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, but I think I might. I might just grab a cup of tea one of these days and on my personal Facebook page say, hey, jump on and let's just talk. Because there's got to be more. You've got to pursue this. It's got to be a pursuit. And then lastly, probably the most important thing is deepen your relationship with God. Put down the phone. Put down the phone. Put it down. Put it down. Many people discover that beneath their loneliness is actually a vacuum, and only God can fill it. I wish people that I knew that I loved that were atheists would hear that. People that don't know the filling. See, here's the difference. I was an atheist. I know how I felt then. Now, after the experience that I had, I know how I feel now. I am filled now. That's the first place you got to look. That's the first communion you have to reach for. So let me quickly, because I want to take a couple of questions. I want to break it down scripturally real fast, okay? Genesis 2:18 is not good for man to be alone. I told you about that. That's the most profound scripture. Fascinating. It's fascinating. There was no disease, no bills, no conflict, no trauma. Yet God looked at Adam and said, it's not good for man to be alone. Not good to be isolated. Not good to be isolated. Do not isolate yourself. Here. Come. Come. If you can come, come. If you've got a good person, one of these next to you, somebody else, go. Connect. Connect. Hold hands. Why do you think we pray? We have everybody hold hands. The connection. So important. God, I'm going to say this one. Psalm 68:6. God sets the lonely in families. Notice that God doesn't merely acknowledge loneliness. He responds to it. He doesn't say, hey, just learn to live with it. He places people in families. There are people I'm as close to or more close to that aren't even in my biological family. Some people have family members, ton of them, still feel completely alone. Sometimes God provides a spiritual family, church family, friends, mentors, people who walk alongside us. Many of the deepest relationships I've had, I've said that, was people that I wasn't related to by blood. There are people all over Italy, I'm in Australia, that I'm related to by blood. I don't even know them. I wouldn't know them if they walked into my house. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Two are better than one. Solomon gives practical reasons for relationships. Wisdom of Solomon. One falls, another one helps him up. One gets cold, another one gives them warmth. One is attacked, another stands with them. Life was never meant to be a solo journey. The only time you should be solo is if God called you, like Paul, to be solo, or to play a solo on an instrument. Or to dance a solo in a show. Other than that, we all need connection. Matthew 11:28, come unto me, all who labor and are heavy laden, I'll give you rest. Notice what Jesus doesn't say. He doesn't say, hey, figure it out, yo. Get stronger, try harder, suck it up, do better. He says, come. That's one reason loneliness becomes overwhelming, is because we carry it ourselves. Jesus invites us to share it with him. Psalm 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Sometimes loneliness feels like nobody sees me, nobody cares, nobody understands. And then you start thinking back of what your life used to be like, maybe before a spouse passed, before 2020 hit and things went haywire and families broke up and split up, and before politics didn't divide all the time. Remember, the moments when you feel far away from everyone are the exact times God is actually the closest. And the final scripture, John 14:18, I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Look, at the heart of loneliness is a feeling of abandonment. The world is going to disappoint you. If you haven't got that yet, ding, ding, ding. Man is going to disappoint you. Politicians are going to disappoint you. People will leave your life. Relationships will end. They'll fall. They're for a season. Certain people will come in your life. Others will leave. Life will change. I found that out 2 weeks ago. Like that. Life can change. But the one promise that stays the same forever is you're never abandoned by our Creator, our Heavenly Father, our God. If this is hitting home, I know it's probably hitting home for some of you. I have a feeling people are watching who feel lonely, maybe haven't told anyone. You smile and you function. You go, even a room full of people, you sometimes feel alone. I felt my loneliest in a room full of people. The most misunderstood. I was in a church of thousands and felt completely misunderstood. You see, the world has convinced us that connection comes through screens. God is reminding us that connection comes through relationship. And the best kind are the ones that you can, when you have an opportunity, you can come in person and get a relationship with others. And maybe the first step toward healing loneliness isn't waiting for someone to find you. Maybe it's taking a closer step toward God. I'll take a couple of questions. I have more, but I'm going to leave it there. There is a wow. What happened? What just happened? Okay. Can you guys hear me? You guys okay? Do you think, Rachel, I know that's Rachel, do you think you'll be able to do a gathering in Oregon again? Owning a business in my handicap made nearly impossible to travel far. Oregon I could go to. I would love to go. Here, Rachel, I'm going to be straight with you. Somebody hears this and they're in Oregon. They want to provide us with 25, 30,000 to come. We'll do it tomorrow. Mostly everyone is the furthest from Oregon as we could be. We would love to come again. We know that we could do it at Eagle Mountain again. Awesome church. It's finances. That's the thing. It's finances. Deborah Mikado, I often feel as a mom and as a therapist, I'm there for everyone else, but no one is really there for me, reaching out to me. Wow, Deb. I get it. Write to me. Reach out to me. Delora at DeloraOBrien.com. Let's connect. Okay? I get that. I had the biggest ministries in one of the biggest churches in New York. And I was very lonely because who I really was, people didn't allow me to be. So, yeah, I get it. And I am, my heart hurts for you. My heart hurts for you, my friend. Any other questions? Put 3 question marks ahead of it. Island Girl. Aloha, Ms. D. Happy 5th anniversary. It was about this time, June 2021, when I discovered your channel. That's when I was almost just about on. Wow, you've been with me that long, huh, girl? 5 years on waiting on that makeup tutorial. I promised her I would do a makeup tutorial. Oh, smooches, your OTC Charlie. Yeah, I like, see these people. I know you. It's like I know you. Yeah, please. So I welcome your questions. I really do. Prime Minister Days here. Yeah, Jan. Wow. You guys been with me. Look, if you know, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I never thought I would, I was always behind the scenes, a director, a writer, a producer. I never wanted this. Now I see God using me in a way that's different than others. So I'm here. Yeah, it was in Costa Mesa, Renee. Yeah, in California. Yep. That was a big gathering. That was like 1,300 people. That was a big gathering. And look when that was. That was what? 2022. It was 2022. I saw you first on Nino's channel. Never look back. You are loved, Delora. Thank you, Frenchie. You are loved as well, my friend. Denise Stone, love you, Delora. I was in Bend gathering. It was the best. Let me just do this. Let me end with this again. Guys, I'm serious. I can't pay airfare. I don't have the money. Dennis, I'm going to go in Dennis's office after this, and he goes, we don't have the money for gas. What do you mean airfare? But you know what? Let me just say this. If you're within a few hours and you just don't have gas money or whatever, please write to me, Delora@DeloraOBrien.com. I am so grieved over people wanting to be there and not being able to be there. Unless you're hiding, then that's between you and God. If you're hiding, and if you're hiding, you know what's going on. Yes, it is. It's just a wonderful thing to meet people. Like Frenchie just said, this is my story. Nice to meet you. Yes, this is my story. Said, this has been really good today and nice chatting with you. Gotta run. Been so good. Have a blessed day, everyone. Have a blessed day. To you too. This is my story. I'm going to close now. Ask you to please keep my family in prayer. Please keep Jenna in prayer. I would love, Queen Esther, I agree with that to a point, and I'm going to tell you why. You're right. But here's the issue. She said the people who are supposed to be at the gathering will be there. I'm not saying anybody on here, but sometimes people will hear or feel something, and it's not really God. It's their own personal stuff. That's the book. The body keeps the score. That's what it talks about. Our subconscious rules our lives. I mean, you don't believe me? Look it up. I'm talking about how God made us. So yes, if you know that you're not supposed to be there, but you're like, oh, I wish I could, and you don't, I don't know. I don't know. If you want to give also to someone to come, write to me, Delora@DeloraOBrien.com. I'll give $100. Somebody needs $100. I'm telling you, this is how I'm feeling. The connection, God has spoken to me so much. The connection is so important. I hope that explains it, Queen Esther. You're not wrong, but everybody's different. Everybody's different. Anyway, God can make a way. He did for me. That's true, Cindy. This just popped up in my feed. Hi, y'all. What is going on with Jen? I need to pray about. What does she need? Pray for her health, Melissa. Great to see you, my friend. I haven't heard from you in a while. Send me over an email. Say hi. She needs serious health prayer. Okay. Thank you for asking. And write to me, You've heard the whole thing. Anybody can help. Anybody wants to, just let me know. I love you all dearly. I'm being a bit selfish because I really would love to know you all, like in person, really. I've gotten to know those that have come to the last few. I mean, I know them. I know them by seeing them. I know them by name. I know them. I know them. And I love it. I love it. I hope that at some point we can meet each other in real life, really hug. It's very important. Ciao for now. Love you all dearly. And remember always, go in the power of God. I love you much. Bye.